Hello, and welcome to the Roast My Essay podcast.
That's right. Amanda and Dave here, as always, ready to dive headfirst into another essay that may or may not survive the roast.
If you're new here, welcome to the chaos. This is the podcast where we pick essays, sometimes brilliant, sometimes less so, and break them down.
So buckle up, grab your highlighters or popcorn, and let's get into today's essay.
Quick reminder, subscribe, like, drop a comment, and tell us which essay gave you a headache this week.
Today we've got an application essay. It's for a PhD program, actually.
Yeah, hold on. You might be thinking, I'm not applying for a PhD, but stick with us.
Yeah, because the way this author tells his story, the way he makes his case, the techniques are really universal. It's about effective communication.
It's like taking let's call it the rough draft of your life experiences and shaping it,
Yeah.
making it into something clear, something compelling.
That's our mission today, to unpack this essay, not just what he says, but how he says it. The structure, the tone, the sort of core ideas that make it land.
And hopefully pull out some principles you can use, for your own story,
Right.
how to transform your rough draft.
So one of the first things that really jumps out is how he uses vulnerability, strategically.
How so?
Well, he doesn't lead with, his greatest hits. He actually starts with a really low point in college. Academic probation, personal stuff going on, an injury that ended his swimming, and untreated ADD on top of it all.
Wow, okay. That's bold. Isn't that risky? Starting with failure.
It could be. But it's the how. He immediately pivots. He talks about what he learned from it, resilience, perseverance from his parents.
Ah, okay.
And crucially, he shows the turnaround. Probation to Dean's List, getting the ADD treated and seeing the results.
So it's not just I failed. It's I failed, I learned, I overcame, turning a negative into proof of character almost.
Precisely. It demonstrates resilience. He gets his BA in psychology back in 2009. Then, like a lot of people, his path isn't, perfectly straight.
Right. Life happens.
He tries some pre-med courses, thinking about physician assistant school, and he's direct about it, says it did not pan out.
I like that directness. No excuses.
Exactly. Acknowledges it, moves on, shows he can adapt, course correct. And then, almost a decade later, 2019, a big shift. He starts a master's in clinical psychology, specifically forensic psychology.
Look, forensic psychology, that's like psychology meets the legal system, right? Criminal investigations, court stuff.
You got it. And he says he excelled here, finished fast, felt like he found his true calling.
So that sequence, the struggle, the detour, then finding the right path and succeeding that narrative structure is powerful.
It really is. It reframes the whole journey. The twists weren't aimless wandering. They were part of discovering where he truly belonged.
Makes you think, doesn't it? About your own detours, that job that didn't fit, the project that flopped. How do you weave that into your narrative?
And this author has another interesting challenge. He needs to connect his long-term job, 12 years as a medical assistant, to forensic psychology. Seems like a stretch.
Yeah, how do you bridge that gap?
This is another key principle. Finding and framing those transferable skills. He doesn't just list duties.
What does he highlight?
Things like building rapport, leadership, overseeing staff, training them, evaluations, even managing schedules, being a liaison. Skills useful anywhere.
So he frames the medical background not just as clinical experience, but as experience in understanding people, assessment, communication, responsibility.
Exactly. He connects the dots for the admissions committee. He doesn't make them guess how it's relevant.
Smart. What else makes this work?
Self-awareness. Huge. He lists his strengths, hard worker, resilient, dedicated, but then he openly flags a weakness.
Which is
That most of his recent studies since 2009 were online. So he found it hard to build those strong relationships with professors, get recommendations.
Okay, admitting a weakness like that, again, seems risky.
But just like the earlier failure, he doesn't leave it hanging. He immediately says that's why he wants to attend the PhD program in person, to build those connections, integrate fully.
So it shows he's thought about it, he understands the potential issue, and he has a proactive plan. It actually adds credibility.
Totally. It feels authentic.
So if we boil it down, the key elements that transform his rough draft are what? That hook of vulnerability, showing resilience.
Yeah. And framing that nonlinear path as discovery.
Highlighting transferable skills from jobs that seem, unrelated at first glance.
Absolutely. And that self-awareness piece, acknowledging weaknesses, but showing you have a plan to address them.
Plus, a really clear, passionate vision for what he wants to do next.
Right. It's the narrative he constructs. Connecting the dots between past struggles, detours, experiences, and future goals. That's what makes it compelling.
It really shows you don't need this perfect linear CV to tell a powerful story. It's about how you frame it, how you connect the pieces.
It's about owning your whole story, the ups and the downs.
So maybe something for you listening to think about this week. What's the hook in your own journey? What are those unexpected turns or challenges you faced?
And how did they actually shape you? What skills did you pick up, even from the things that didn't pan out?
How can you connect all those different threads, the rough draft, into a clear, compelling story about where you want to go next? Give that some thought. That's all for today's episode. Got a sample you want roasted? Send it to us. We'll pick the spiciest ones for the next episode.
See you next Friday on Roast My Essay.